Is this little ball really worth it? And what can it actually do? Well, I've used it for ice fishing, bank fishing, canoe fishing, kayak fishing, backcountry camping, and I'm going to tell you about my experience, and hopefully that's going to help you decide if it's worth it for you. My name is Adam. I'm a paddlehead. I get it. You're asking yourself, why should I trust this guy with the deeper hat to tell me about the deeper? Well, I purchased one myself about 4 years ago. It was an older unit, so I have a lot of experience with the deeper. Let's talk about using the deeper on a boat. You are going to need the Flex Mount 2.0 in order to do that. And now this comes with a C-clamp, or you could actually screw it directly onto the gear tracks on your boat. Now, one slight downside to all of this is the deeper can be really tricky to rig up on a boat if you don't have the flex mount. So I highly recommend if you're gonna pick up a deeper, you get that accessory with it if you're going to use it on a boat. I usually mount my phone on one of these standard phone clamp springy thingies. Personally, I've never had a problem with it, but Deeper actually makes an accessory for this now, so I should get my hands on one. But this does the job. It attaches to the gear tracks on the boat. This ball joint just screws onto the phone mount with a 1/4-inch screw at the bottom. Once it's all set up, the Deeper actually will sit in the water and travel up and down with the waves. But this thing works really well, and that keeps it in the water when the waves are going up and down. Using the Deeper attached to my canoe is my go-to setup. So if that's how you plan on using the Deeper, give this video a thumbs up. That's cheesy. Bank fishing is something I do a lot less of these days, but when I did more of it, the Deeper was helpful for really getting to know those spots that I would go to frequently. I would bring the Deeper attached to a second rod, and you want a heavy rod with a good backbone because the Deeper weighs about 3.2 ounces. And I would fan cast it in the area I like to fish, about as far as I could cast a lure, and create a map of that entire area. The other thing you can do with the Deeper is take it to a river. You cast it upriver, you let it drift down, and you're creating contour maps of the riverbed, which is super cool. Then you take all those maps that you've made, study them, and then the next time you go to those spots, you can be more efficient. Efficient. I like that pun. And while you're doing all that, if you mark fish, well, you know exactly where to cast. I think ice fishing with the Deeper is probably what surprised me the most. Even though these devices are small and they have small batteries, my old device, which was the Deeper Chirp Plus, got about 6 hours of continuous use in freezing cold temperatures. Now, I actually haven't had a chance to use the Deeper Chirp 2 on the ice myself, but I do have a buddy. His name is Brody, and you can find him at NWO Outdoors. He got to use one of these this past winter on the ice and had really good things to say about it. The other thing is they can be charged up to 80% within an hour. So while you're making hot soup on the ice for lunch, you can plug this thing in and have a ton more battery for the rest of the day. Unlike more traditional sonar units, this thing has no wires, it has no transducer, it has no big battery to carry around, so it makes hopping from one hole to the next super easy. You drill your hole, drop the Deeper in, get your reading, put it in your pocket, move to the next hole. Since your phone is a display for the Deeper, let's talk about the app. It's loaded with features, and that might sound intimidating, but straight out of the box, the user experience is super simple and the base functionality is easy to navigate. And when you want to dive more into it, there is a lot to play around with. On your primary display, you get things like the depth, water temperature, time, and then you have the map, and that shows the location of your boat, or when you're casting from the shore, it shows the location of the Deeper. You'll also see the lake contours begin to appear as you're moving, and the different depths show up as different colors to easily differentiate them at a glance. You can mark places or log a catch on the map, and then you get your sonar reading. So when you're in a boat or when you're casting, you get that standard side scroll you do with other down imaging technology. And if you're ice fishing, you get the flasher and the side scroll at the same time. Additional features let you easily adjust the signal sensitivity, the sonar beam angle, the color palette for the side scroll. Some unique perks of the Deeper are being able to play back and view historical scans. You can view the places you've marked. Another cool feature is that you can download regional maps to your device, so if you don't have signal on your phone, you can still see your location on the map using the device's GPS. And this feature is essential when you're traveling in the backcountry. Speaking of your phone, this leads me to something I want to address. I think it's fair to be honest about your expectations with this device. My experience has been that your phone will die much sooner than the Deeper does itself. Depending on the type of phone you have, you might get 3 to 5 hours of battery life. In the past, I've solved this problem by keeping a small battery bank and a cable accessible, so when the phone starts to die, I can just plug it in and charge it while I'm using it. More recently, I've actually just switched to using 2 phones. Now, I've always been someone to keep old phones, and so I've got a bunch laying around. But having 2 phones means when one dies, I just have to swap it out for the next one and then make sure they're both charged for the next day. Thankfully, they are both waterproof. That helps a lot. So if you don't have a waterproof phone, I'd recommend you look into a waterproof case. I would also recommend a case that has a lanyard attachment so that you can take a small piece of rope or string and attach your phone to something on the boat that won't fall off if the phone goes down into the water. I would actually love to see Deeper come out with a standalone, rechargeable, waterproof display about the size of a large phone, maybe even slightly bigger, with a battery that will last as long as the Deeper will. So I'm really curious to know what interested you in the Deeper. For me, it was small, about the size of a baseball. It's light, so it's easy to portage. And you can build maps of those backcountry lakes that other people can't find online. It doesn't require an enormous amount of battery to recharge it, and the phone, a 10,000 milliamp hour battery, is more than enough for a weekend of fishing. And you can recharge it if you somehow managed to drag a traditional fish finder with the display and with the battery and the transducer, you wouldn't be able to recharge it once the battery dies. You need like a 120 volt current to charge that thing. The Deeper is accurate, it is reliable, it is durable. One time I thought I lost it, and I actually just left it at a friend's cottage. It fell out of my ice fishing sled and stayed there for the rest of the winter outside. So 3 months. And when I finally found it in the spring, I took it home, charged it up, and it was no worse for wear. If you were on the fence about buying one of these things and you're looking for something for ice fishing or bank fishing or canoe fishing or kayak fishing or backcountry camping, I can absolutely highly recommend the Deeper product without a doubt. And I think it is totally worth it. As Paddleheads, we are now brand ambassadors for Deeper. They sent us this device. This is the Deeper Chirp 2. But they did not ask us to make this video, and we're not being paid to make this video. I just really like talking about the Deeper. If you do plan to buy a Deeper and you found this review helpful at all, then I would ask that you consider using the affiliate link in the description. There's no additional charge to you, and we would get a small commission off that. If I missed anything at all, or you have any questions about the Deeper, then please do let me know in the comments. I will get back to you quickly. If you're looking for some entertaining or informative adventure fishing content, then consider subscribing. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you later.